Hey everyone. It is Saturday, November 14th at 10:59 p.m. and I haven't made an actual topic video in a while. The last video I made was my 4 months on tea, which was this Monday, so hooray. But there's something that I wanted to talk about because we talked about this in my acting class, and our teacher had us read this article called "Don't Call Me Ma'am" on politics of gender of wait no on the politics of gender casting, and it brought up a lot of really valid points that I just kind of wanted to talk about because it was really cool. Because in class with about 45 students, we had a discussion about diversity, and one of the things was this article. And as an actor who happens to be transgender, how casting affects my career and my ability to make money is important. But even more so, the fact that transgender people are starting to get more visibility in the media, I think is a really big deal, because there are more and more opportunities, it seems like daily, for trans roles are being developed. And the main point of this article was cis people playing transgender characters and how that's not really okay. And this is a problem that affects me, obviously. This is something that directly affects me because roles are being taken away from me by trans people. But on the plus side, there are theater companies that are actually casting trans people, which is like really exciting, and it just makes me want to jump up and down and like cry a little bit. And it's really exciting because like I feel like this is our time, or at least our time is really coming for like the media to really take notice of us. So a couple points that I really identified with in this article that I thought were just like brilliant points was talking about, it's labeled under visual and physical. And it pretty much talked about how trans and gender non-conforming people, how we're already comfortable wearing clothing that fit our gender identity. So that includes binding, tucking, packers, bras, other facets of our gender identity that we're already comfortable wearing. Whereas a cisgender person, and for those of you that don't know what cisgender is, that basically means a person who identifies with the gender that they were assigned at birth. So I'm assuming that a lot of people watching my video right now happen to be cisgender, which means that like the body, the anatomy, all that good stuff that you were born with, you identify with. You're like, I was born a man, I'm a man. I was born a female, I'm a female. So that's what we're talking about, is that cisgender people are taking roles away from trans people. And the article just brought up the fact that we are already comfortable binding and tucking and packing, and cis people might be uncomfortable doing these things. Like, binders are not comfortable to wear. They're not fun. Like, it's sometimes, depending on the brand that you get, they're hard to breathe. They're restrictive. You can't wear them for a long time. And, you know, it's just something that we're already used to. So having to have a cis person get, like, acclimated to these things that we already know through our lived experience is kind of, it's not really fair. It's not fair that someone that doesn't understand what I'm going through on a daily basis is taking roles away from me. There's no reason that me as a trans person should not be playing transgender roles. Jared Leto and Dallas Buyers Club, a movie that happened to have a trans woman. Why wasn't that played by a trans woman? Why is Jeffrey Tambor playing a trans woman in the TV show Transparent? I gotta give it up to Netflix for casting Laverne Cox in Orange is the New Black because she's actually a trans person. So it's like we're making strides forward in the sense that we're getting visibility, but also as a trans actor, like I am being outsourced. I don't even know that that's the word. I'm not being able to get the jobs to represent my community. And I almost think of it as an African American actor, like a white person playing an African American person. How can you have that experience? You don't have that lived experience. So why is your role being represented by someone else that doesn't understand what you're going through? Another part that was brought up in the article that I thought was interesting is the amount of research that a cis person would have to do to try and understand what it's like to be trans. I mean, that's part of the fun of being an actor, is getting into like the soul and the shoes and understanding what makes a character tick and understanding a character. But when there are trans actors who are talented, there's no reason for our roles to be given away to a cis person. The biggest argument that casting directors are trying to make are that not a lot of trans actors are known and they don't have necessarily credibility that, say, Jared Leto has. So in that sense, our roles are being given to people that are more well known. And I get that this is a business. I get that that's how a lot of things work, that it's like star power, that's what sells tickets. But on the other hand, it's like, give us a chance. Like, I hope and pray to God that, when I start going into the acting career and I'm finished with school, that just because I'm not Jennifer Lawrence and known to the world, that people will give me a chance to represent my community. I just think that's a cop-out for casting directors to say, well, there are no stars out there. Give us a chance and you'll have a star. Like, it's as simple as that. So yeah, and it just brought up some other things about, it brought up, I think, a point about talking about, like, dressing rooms and, bathrooms, like, backstage, how these things need to be more gender neutral to, like, welcome trans people. And that was something really interesting because I thought about, what am I going to do when I'm at school and we do a production and I'm in the men's dressing room? Like, I haven't had top surgery yet, so that's going to be an interesting situation. So the article brought up a lot of things that I hadn't necessarily considered before. But I think mostly I'm just excited for what the future holds in terms of opportunities for me. I am a little bit cautious and wary that I am going to be pigeonholed and typecast as the trans guy. I think I have two things counting against me. I am a person of color and I am trans. Those are two things that I have counting against me when it comes to casting. Are casting directors willing to cast me in cisgender roles? I don't know. Or am I only going to be cast as, like, that trans guy in a role? I can't say because I can't tell the future. I hope that's not the case. I hope that I'll be treated as any other actor, that I'll be seen for the talent that I have and not a gender identity or for the body parts that I do or don't have. Like, I hope that it will be seen beyond that and they'll just be able to see me as a human being and I won't be stuck in these trans roles. For now, though, I'm okay representing our community and playing a trans role. Like, I'm open to that. Like, let's fucking do it. Sign me up. Like, where? Where do I go? That being said, I think it's really cool that the Public Theater in New York, which is a gigantic theater company that I want to say has like 7 different theaters, has an open casting call right now for transgender identifying individuals for a musical that's going to be happening. So I think that's amazing. Yeah, that's pretty incredible. So overall, I just don't think that cisgender people should be playing transgender roles because they don't have the lived experience that we do. And just why? Why would you do that? There's plenty of trans actors out there. And that I'm mostly excited to see what my personal career holds for me in terms of acting now that our time is in the spotlight, and it seems to be like the blooming of transgender issues in entertainment. Because there are shows like Transparent, there is Orange is the New Black, there is the show here at Playwrights Horizons that are starting to focus on trans characters. So I just think that that's really exciting, and I'm happy to hopefully be a part of these projects in the future, especially as my training continues as an actor. I just want to get more adept at my craft and just be able to represent my community in an honest and just in an honest way, instead of having an actor act what it's like to be trans. Because someone that's not trans or that hasn't questioned their gender identity will never be able to understand what we go through on a daily basis. So, yeah, excited for the future.